What's going on? What's going on, people? This is your boy, Freddie Johnson, aka Freddie's Blades, aka DJ Boxology. Just want to share a quick thought with you, and that's based on a conversation that I just had with an older woman just the other day. And she was telling me a story about her ex-husband and something that he had done to her. But in actuality, it was something that he, in essence, had done to himself. And I'm going to explain this and explain why I titled the video like I did. Why some men should never cheat. I believe that no man should cheat, but there are some of us who the repercussions is something that we will not be able to survive. Let me explain this story to you. So basically, this woman had told me that her ex-husband, they were up there in age at that time. They were in their 60s. They had already been married for a long time. And so what ended up happening is he ended up cheating with a younger lady. And the way she was able to find out that he cheated with this younger lady was because of the fact that God showed her in a dream. He showed her in a dream exactly what was happening. She saw a truck that he was driving pull up to this house. It was like way in the woods, like a lake house or something like that. She saw this truck pull up to a house. It backed up to a house, and a lady was waving. The lady was at the house waving while he was backing up the truck. Then she saw like it cut to another vision when he was driving that same truck away from that house, and that lady was waving again, waving and smiling, okay? Saw it in a dream. And she also saw in the dream where this place was. So she didn't have any clues, any evidence, nothing like that her husband was cheating. She found out from the dream. So then what she ended up doing was driving to that location that she saw in her dream. And when she drove to that location, she saw that very house that she had saw in her dream. Now, she said her first thought was to burn that house down, but she didn't. She went inside the house, she looked through, and she saw her husband's colognes. She saw in the room her husband's underwear, this lady's underwear, you know, laying around in this room as well. And like I said, she wanted to burn the house down, but she ended up not taking that route. So here's what happened. She ended up grabbing all of these clothes, putting everything together, grabbing all of these clothes, all the stuff she has as evidence, his underwear, his cologne, all this stuff, right? She took this stuff and she brought it to the house. Now, when she had greeted him when he came home, he did his regular, hey honey baby, this, that, my sugar pumpkin, you know, all this different kind of stuff. And she basically said, don't come kiss me. And he was like, why? And so she was saying, I know what you've been up to. And she gave him the bag. He opened up the bag and saw all his stuff, his underwear, his colognes, you know, all the clothes he had left over, this young lady's clothes, her underwear. She put it all together in the bag. So then he tried to say, oh no, that wasn't my stuff, you know, it was my cousin's. He mentioned his cousin's name and all that. And she was like, why in the world would your cousin bring all of your stuff over to this lady's house? She's like, don't lie to me. And she told him what happened, how it was revealed to her by God in a dream, so on and so forth. So then he went off and started crying, started, you know, saying sorry and all different kind of stuff. You know, she allowed him to go ahead and to stay, but she told him that he'll never be able to touch her again. And she kept that promise. As a matter of fact, there was one day in church where there were people who were asked to stand up and just kind of talk about some things that they were wrestling with. And so she stood up and told the whole church what her husband had done, and he was ashamed. And he even asked her, why'd you tell the whole church what happened and so on and so forth? She was like, I didn't lie, I told the truth. And like, it was something I just made up. She's like, I actually caught you in it. And so then the pastor called her and her husband into the pastor's office, and they went ahead and had the discussion about what happened. And he was telling her to forgive him. And she was like, basically, I forgive him, but I'm not allowing him to touch me anymore ever again in life. And so the pastor ended up telling her, and we can definitely comment about this, because I want to see what people got to say about this. The pastor told her that she hadn't really forgiven him because she wasn't willing to physically reconcile. She allowed him to stay and to live in the house, but she wasn't willing to physically reconcile again, okay? To allow him to lay down and have sex with her again, ever in life. And so the pastor, he told her that he hadn't really forgiven her, so on and so forth. And she asked me, my opinion. So I shared with her, where I was, and we walked through a couple of scriptures concerning that. And so then what ends up happening is he was so remorseful over what he had done, it physically made him sick. Like he had an organ that failed. It physically made him sick because he still loved her. And he never, after that, slept with anybody else. She actually called him not only in that situation, but there was a previous situation also. There was a couple ladies that he had cheated with. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back. And that's why she had came to the conclusion that she had came to. So it made him sick. But what she ended up doing, she continued to take care of him. She continued to feed him. She, they had a big house, so he had a room in there where he was able to stay and to live. And then after a while, with him being sick and everything, and totally dependent on her and her, still having some feelings about what he had done. After a while, she basically told him, like, you gotta go, bro. And he's like, where am I gonna go? And so on and so forth. She's like, I don't know, but you gotta get out of here. So long story short, he continued, his illness got worse and worse, and he ended up passing away. And he passed away a few years ago. The incident happened, about 10, 12 years ago. He just passed away a few years ago. Now, I say this to say, some of y'all, and I would even challenge to say even most of y'all, would not be able to handle those type of repercussions, trying to be a player, or just not keeping your lower desires in check, not keeping your flesh in check. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sharing this to maybe help you consider some of the repercussions if you're thinking about going ahead and stepping out of your relationship, or if you've already done it and you haven't necessarily got caught yet. If that had taken place, bro, get it right, get it together, get some help, get some counseling, do what you need to do to get that right, because you love your woman, you love your spouse, you love your girlfriend, your baby mama, whoever it is that you're with. And you know you won't be able to handle not only losing her. All right, take care. You won't be able to handle not only losing her, but you won't be able to handle even being in the same house with her and you guys not having the same connection, you guys not having the same relationship, you guys not having the same level of intimacy. That is something that you also love, but there's something that's inside of you that you're wrestling with, that's holding you back from really giving your spouse your all, your baby mother your all, your girlfriend your all, your undivided attention, your undivided affection, your undivided, sexual exploration, however you want to put it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very imperative that you make sure you get that thing in check. You get that thing under control, because you wouldn't be able to handle certain types of repercussions. You're not built like that. You weren't born to be a player. Yes, the culture kind of applauds that. Yes, the culture kind of encourages us to be that way. But there are those of us who are not built to be out in these streets like that. So I'm pleading with you right now to stop. Get it together, tighten it up, let's talk about it. I'll holler at y'all later. All right, it's your boy Freddie Johnson. Peace.